Before this video starts, I just wanted to point out that we now have a Ko-Fi page, a Blue Sky, as well as Phoenix Star YT merch powered by Agent Ink Apparel. The merch is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love the design and I absolutely love the colors on it. It's the Phoenix Star YT colors. What's not to love about that? Feel free to check out everything that I left in the description down below for Blue Sky, Ko-Fi, the merch, and everything else that I got going on there. Links will be in the description down below over on my card. No obligation whatsoever, of course, to donate or buy the merch. It's entirely up to you if you have the money for it or if you even want to do it. But I hope you will at the very least consider. Alright, that's enough from me today. Let's get right into the video, shall we? Enjoy! I've been live streaming ever since 2015 on numerous different channels, mostly on YouTube, but recently I've been branching out a little bit to other platforms like Twitch to keep my Koen's Corners and live streams separate from each other. Doing so, however, made me realize that no matter what live stream platform you choose, they're all going to come with their own sets of problems that make live streaming, especially for beginners, a bit of a nightmare. As a matter of fact, these problems ended up being so prevalent that they ended up being the inspiration to make this very video you're watching right now. There's not an awful lot more to say in this introduction, so let's just get right into it. For those of you who don't know, live streaming on the internet can be quite the process if you're just getting started. No matter which platform you choose to stream on, there's always some sort of external program you need to use in order to even get started with it. Unless, of course, you choose to use Google Hangouts to live stream with, but I would not recommend doing that. Two of the most common ones being OBS Studio and XSplit Broadcaster, both of which are very good options, by the way. These make it possible for streamers to make their live streams as pretty and fun as possible, with all sorts of elements and alerts that give your stream that much life and personality than it already has with your face on the screen. Setting up everything inside of OBS, however, especially when you have a number of elements you want to put into your stream, can get quite complicated rather quickly. And that's not even counting all of the technical aspects of it. Because for the particular stream layout that I wanted, I needed to set up an external setup using stream elements to give my stream the synthwave look that I want to go for. And putting everything I want in the right place and getting it all to work so that my alerts and my layout will respond to follows or donations can get crazy really quickly. Once everything is set up though, you can pretty much let it sit there and never worry about it again for as long as you have that system running. Then, however, we have to actually get the stream to work. Now, for streams to even work in the first place, you first have to get what's called a stream key. Every streaming platform gives you one, and you have to put this into your streaming software so that the program will know where to stream to. Some platforms like YouTube actually gives you a unique stream key for every live stream that you're going to do, but Twitch just gives you one static key that you can pretty much use forever until you decide to refresh it. Anyway, once you have everything set up in your streaming program, you're pretty much good to go. All that's left to do now is to sit back and put up a good show. Play fun games, put up some fun commentary, and interact with your audience while you do it. The interaction, for me, is the biggest reason to stream in the first place. I always very much enjoy interacting with my audience. That's part of the reason why I wanted to stream on YouTube in the first place. See, my audience already is on YouTube, so it makes a lot more sense to me to stream here as well, instead of going to a completely different platform to do that. This kind of thing is a great way for me to chat with my audience directly, rather than having to make an entire Koen's Corner first and then have a discussion with people in the comment section. Viewers are able to ask me questions in the live chat, which I would be able to answer immediately. It's a really good way to get some conversation going and even for my audience to get to know me a little bit better. Live streams are typically also where I tend to do just kind of whatever I like doing. I typically don't really put all that much thought into what I do and instead just end up doing literally anything that comes to mind as I go along. Sometimes I would do Linux related projects, often I'd play video games on stream, or both in one, all the while chatting with my audience who's watching me along the way. It's also a really great method for me to get some kind of content out to my audience. I would hopefully end up entertaining them as I go, as well as putting something up on the Phoenix Star YT channel. But here comes the reality of the whole story. Live streaming online can be a nightmare and a half a lot of the time. Many live streamers can confirm that for me as well. Live streams can and almost certainly will break at some point, meaning that you would often have to troubleshoot as you stream. The technical aspect of live streaming can be a really big nightmare a lot of the time. But in my opinion, live streaming has much bigger problems than some technical difficulties you may run into. Live streams breaking as you stream, that's, in my honest opinion, one of the smaller issues. There are much bigger problems involved with this. A lot of it has to do with how each platform's algorithm and how they treat their users for doing the very thing that their platform is designed for. Some people would argue that YouTube isn't much of a streaming platform because its primary use is to put out videos for people to watch. And while it's true that at its core it's a platform where people can upload videos to, many people forget that it's also very possible to live stream on here as well. I actually used to do that for the longest time, ever since 2015, all the way until recently, until I decided to switch to something different like Twitch. People often give YouTube flack for not having a proper way to live stream on their platform, but honestly, I think out of both YouTube and Twitch, YouTube probably is the better option if you're looking to stream. I honestly never really understood the purpose of going to a different platform entirely just to do live streams, because it essentially means you're going to have to bring your already existing audience to a different platform. I couldn't help but notice that I barely get very many people watching my live streams anymore on Twitch ever since I switched over to it, as opposed to YouTube where I would typically get at least 2 people watching me at any given time. Sure, I've had some slower days here and there, but generally speaking, I could always count on there being at least 1 or 2 people joining me on the stream whenever I did one on here. Not to mention, YouTube has a great system in place for stream VODs, where every live stream you do on this platform gets archived on your YouTube channel, meaning that your audience can always come back and rewatch your streams if they missed them. Twitch doesn't really have a good system for this. They do archive your streams for about a week or so before they literally get lost to the ether, which means that if you want your stream to be permanently archived, you would have to either go through a lot of hoops on Twitch or download the streams directly from them and then upload them to a different platform as they were videos. I've certainly done that myself a couple of times for live streams that I thought deserve a place on the Phoenix Star YT channel. Long story short, I don't think that it makes all that much sense that if you wanted to live stream, that you would have to go to another platform entirely and pretty much bring your audience along with you. Streaming on YouTube is just a better option in my opinion in this regard, because it means that you are also able to keep your audience where they always have been. Not to mention, videos and stream VODs both have their own space on YouTube now, so the VODs don't end up cluttering your entire video feed if you do a lot of live streams. Live streaming on YouTube does come with one caveat though, and it has something to do with its infamous algorithm. Look, there is absolutely no way for me to sugarcoat this. YouTube doesn't exactly like creators live streaming a lot. As a matter of fact, it is very much discouraged to do so, as your channel will run into the risk of getting buried by the algorithm when you live stream an awful lot. Let's say you stream daily on YouTube, then you're going to run into a lot of problems there, because YouTube doesn't seem to consider live streams as genuine content, which is something that they want to see and push to the bigger audiences. Now, I'm not that worried about viewership on this channel. I think that much is apparent from my speed on YouTube uploads, but I'm very alone in that regard. Numerous creators on YouTube are concerned about their viewership, especially those who do this sort of thing as their full-time job. Live streaming on a frequent basis, in this case, is just simply not a viable option for them if they want their channel to push through the algorithm to their subscribers. This is also why they don't bother streaming on here, and instead just move to Twitch. By now, I'm pretty sure you're already aware that I never really intended to move to Twitch for live streaming. I already rarely even go there to watch live streams as is. And in general, my main hub for all of my stuff was already YouTube, and it probably always will be. I do have an X page for occasional updates and some random thoughts and some bullshit that I may like to mention, or quips, which I recommend you follow if you want to engage with me on a more personal level. But Twitch was never a platform that came to mind to me whatsoever. That wasn't until I finally caved into peer pressure, because literally everybody keeps telling me that I should stream on Twitch instead of streaming on YouTube. So I decided to do it reluctantly, and that was easily one of the biggest mistakes I've made in a long time. For one thing, I pretty much had to take my entire stream layout that I already had on YouTube and convert it entirely so that it'll work on Twitch, which was a really irritating process. I also just really despise how Twitch doesn't offer all that many features at all to newcomers to Twitch. You see, YouTube gives their creators the ability to pretty much moderate their streams without the need of any sort of rank. They can remove messages as they see fit on YouTube live streams with no issue. They can give users a timeout if they need to. They can ban users if they are really annoying. Or, and this is a really big plus for audiences, you can actually change the resolution as you see fit on the stream itself. So let's say you have a much slower internet connection and you cannot watch the live stream in 1080p. Well, you can just lower the resolution to 720 or even lower than that if you so desired. There is no partnership required whatsoever for any of this. Everything is just right there from the get-go. On Twitch, however, all of that is locked and only available for affiliates or Twitch partners. Which basically means that if I wanted to moderate my streams, I literally cannot do that, so people can just come into my stream and spam all their heart's content. And there's nothing I can do about it. I also had this wonderful event where a number of bots followed me all at once, which is great for my follower count, but horrible for my view counts because they're not real people following me. So that followers count as it is right now doesn't mean anything to me, because none of them are actually going to bother to watch any of my streams because they aren't real people. And for the record, this is just bullcrap that I never had to deal with at all when I was streaming on YouTube. There's a number of other issues that Twitch has that are incredibly obnoxious on multiple angles, but I'm pretty sure you get what I mean by now. Live streaming is still one of my favorite things to do because I get to have a real-time conversation with you guys, and you get a more raw side of who I am in real life. Not to mention, we can all treat ourselves to whatever random bullshit I decide to do in these streams of mine. That being said, there's so many downsides to it that I honestly can't say I really recommend doing it to anybody unless you know what you're getting yourself into. Or you already have a pretty sizable community with you that will most certainly join in on your shenanigans on Twitch, or on YouTube for that matter. There's a lot of great aspects to this, and for some even lots of money to be made out of it. But there's a lot of hoops to jump through if you want to get successful with it. So if you do decide to get into this hobby, then I wish you the absolute best of luck. Believe me, you're going to need it.